This is the Cycle 7 Principal Residency Grant webinar. In this webinar, we'll cover the purpose of the grant, eligibility information, funding structures, application scoring, and timeline and submission. To begin, we'll cover the purpose of the grant. The purpose of the Principal Residency Grant is to provide LEAs with an opportunity to increase the number of well-prepared, diverse instructional leaders by building sustainable leadership pipelines and growing quality principal residency programs. There are 4 main goals that LEAs will do over the course of the grant. First, LEAs will identify strong principal residents from among their current staff through a targeted recruitment and selection process. Second, LEAs will partner with an effective principal educator preparation program, EPP, that provides residents with course content focused on best practices in campus leadership, including a concentrated focus on instructional leadership. 3, LEAs will design and implement a year-long full-time residency with a focus on authentic campus-based leadership experiences in partnership with the EPP under the supervision of a high-quality mentor principal. 4, LEAs will design a plan for building sustainable leadership pipelines within the LEA. So we'll go into each of those in a little bit more depth. So the first purpose, identify strong principal candidates. In the application process, you will be expected to identify a clear selection and recruitment process. So some things to consider when thinking about your selection and recruitment of principal residents. What are the needs of the district? What are the potential openings for administrative positions? What are your student demographics? And what are the needs for administrators? What are some unique skill sets that you could be looking for? And then who are your educators with proven track records of improving outcomes for students? The next component of the principal residency is partnership with EPPs. 2 critical components of this partnership is first, developing a strong plan for collaboration, and secondly, establishing and articulating a communication plan with your EPP partner. This grant does require that EPP partners be on the vetted list. The vetted principal residency program list can be found on the TEA Grant Opportunity webpage. A big component of this grant is the resident experience. Through this residency, residents should be provided with an authentic leadership experience that is focused on instructional practices aligned to the effective school framework. This includes weekly data meetings, leading PLCs, and coaching teachers. Those components in the effective schools framework are related to strong school leadership and planning, strategic staffing, positive school culture, high quality instructional materials and assessments, and effective instruction. The ultimate goal of the residency experience is to ensure prepared principals, effective systems of instructional practice, better supported teachers, and improved student outcomes. In order for those things to happen, the LEA and EPP partner must be strong. LEAs and EPPs must have ongoing monitoring of practices and outcomes, and the residency should be designed with the 3 main components of strong recruitment and selection, residency design, and residency coursework that will all help LEAs achieve their goals. The final component is sustainability. The goal of this grant is to build sustainable leadership pipelines. The number of residents supported by the LEA should be justifiable based on the number of predicted openings for the following school years. The resident experience should be reflective of the role of the principal, and supports should be in place for the mentor principal and should be in place as the resident transitions to residency and out of residency. As you think about your application, if you're a veteran applicant, for your short answer questions, we want to see what you did in previous cycles. We want you to highlight what went well, and how you are going to improve practices. What is being modified to further support your pipeline and progress? For new applicants, if you have not been part of the principal residency grant prior, then your answers should be proposals of how you are going to begin your pipelines and systems currently in place to support your proposal. Next, we'll talk about eligibility information. Who is eligible for this grant? LEAs with at least one campus that received a not rated rating per the 2022 accountability ratings, and or with at least one campus labeled targeted, additional targeted, or comprehensive per the 2022-2023 Title I status. Next, we'll talk about funding structure. So this grant allows $75,000 per resident. That is the maximum amount that can be provided per resident. And then the grant will fund a maximum of 10 principal residents per LEA. LEAs are expected to match that $15,000 of the funding. Next, we'll talk about the program application. So in the application, you'll discuss the following: targeted recruitment, including projected number of administrative openings for the following school year. Description of a year-long residency with authentic instructional leadership opportunities. Data-driven instructional systems currently implemented at a district level. Observation and feedback systems currently implemented at a district level. A clear sustainability proposal, and a clear description of the proposed communication system between the EPP team and key district players. Next, you'll talk about the profile of a leader. So you'll set the vision for leadership competencies, which includes clearly defining what the skills and mindsets are that are necessary for staff and leaders to deliver on what students ultimately need. You'll clearly define a plan for leader skill and mindset development. You'll build a sustainable pipeline for leader development, and you'll clearly articulate what the desired candidate outcome is to inform residency planning and allow for focusing on sustaining those systems. In your application, there will be supplemental documents as well. The purpose of these documents is to provide artifacts or clearly articulated processes, protocols, systems that are already in place in your districts. The next piece is the program description. In your program description, you should include sustained and rigorous clinical learning in authentic school setting, evidence-based coursework focused on best practices in campus leadership, including a concentrated focus on instructional leadership, ongoing support from effective mentor principal or school leader, authentic leadership opportunities, and an opportunity to practice and be evaluated in a school setting. And so the readiness criteria for this grant is first a clearly articulated and designed profile of a leader, effective school framework aligned practices currently in place, clearly defined plan for resident experience that is heavily focused on authentic instructional leadership experiences, a well-designed plan for sustainability, and clearly articulated communications plan for collaboration with your EPP partner. Some timelines for this grant. By October 6th, an FAQ will be posted to the TEA Grants Opportunity page. The application is due October 27th in the TEA Document Control Center by 5:00 p.m. Central Time. The grant will begin in February 2024. And in spring 2024, there will be a Principal Institute where mentor principals, district instructional leaders, and EPP representatives will be required to attend. The date for that institute will be announced in February. The grant will end September 2025. So where to apply? You can apply for this grant on the TEA Grants Opportunity page, searching for 2024-2025 Principal Residency Grant Cycle 7, and the application must be completed by October 27th. We will now review the FAQs that were submitted to the principal residency inbox. The first question received, are charter schools eligible to apply? Yes, charter schools are eligible. What are the school district responsibilities in being awarded a grant like this? To see the responsibilities of the school district, please see pages 9 through 10 on the program guidelines, which outlines the LEA assurances. Does it matter which university we partner with? Is there a list of approved universities? Yes, LEAs must partner with an approved provider from the approved provider list found in both this webinar and on the TEA grants opportunity page. There is a minimum allowable per award of $75,000. Could you tell me if there is an expectation of how this amount must be used? Could it be entirely used to pay for the principal residence salary? Per the program guidelines, general allowable activities and use of funds include professional development, curriculum for residents, stipends or salaries for residents, stipends for mentor principals, certification exam costs for residents, travel for residents for EPP training or coaching purposes, and curriculum or textbooks for residents. The LEA can choose how in their budget to allocate these items. For the budget, is it expected that residents will earn $90,000 as their salary? If so, can applicants request beyond the $75,000 to cover the cost of the partnership with the vetted PRG providers? So $75,000 is the maximum award amount possible per resident. LEAs are not required to use the full $75,000 for resident salaries, but are expected to provide a $15,000 match for resident salaries. There is no required amount an awardee is required to devote to resident salaries. If an applicant has a principal in residence program that is somewhat loosely established in place, but not as rigorous as this grant requires, would that cause any problems under this provision? LEAs must meet all requirements outlined in the program guidelines. Applications will be scored based on the residency program that LEAs intend to implement as part of the grant. Are current principals eligible to be considered for the program? Is this directed at current staff on campus or external candidates? No, per the program guidelines, LEA assures that residents do not hold a principal certification in the state of Texas. LEAs can select residents internally or externally based on campus needs across the district. Do candidates need an active teaching certificate? Yes, candidates should be a certified teacher in the state of Texas. Does the mentor principal have to be within the same district? Could the mentor principal be from another district? Could it be the superintendent? The resident and mentor principal should be on the same campus, and the mentor should be a current acting principal. Would central office leadership who work directly in support of campus leadership be eligible for this, or would they have to be on campus? A current central office leadership staff member would be eligible, but could not continue in their central administrator role for the duration of the residency, as they would have to be placed on a campus. By the end of the grant is the expectation that candidates will be certified principals. Yes, residents should plan on completing all certification requirements by the end of residency. Is this for only one school that is rated an F, or can an LEA apply for multiple schools that are rated an F? LEAs with at least one campus that received a not rated rating overall per the 2022 accountability rating, and or at least one campus labeled targeted, additional targeted, or comprehensive per the 2022-2023 Title I status would be eligible. And then our final question, are contracted evaluators a requirement of this opportunity? No, contracts are not required. If you have additional questions that were not answered in this webinar, please email those questions to principalresidency@tea.texas.gov by September 26th to be included in the final FAQ posted on the Grants Opportunities page on October 6th. Thank you.